It's a term that many are familiar with when describing something out of the ordinary. For example, the phrase, "we're living in the Twilight Zone."
This happens to be the Twilight Zone.
Why was Twilight Zone episode pulled from television for over 50 years? How did Rod Serling's 4-pack-a-day habit
Great tobaccos make it a wonderful smoke. Try them, they satisfy.
literally shape the show's look? From Forbidden Planet props reused in plain sight to stories born from censorship, paranoia, and a real-world murder, these episodes hide far more than twist endings. Here are 35 bizarre, hidden, and tragic truths that permanently change how you see the Twilight Zone.
You walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future.
That car almost hit us. It was 3 o'clock. Exactly when that machine said it.
You said 3 o'clock, not the machine.
Number 1. Split screen time. Here's Shatner in the diner in Nick of Time. Now here he is on the plane in Nightmare at 20,000 feet. Notice anything? He's always panicking, always sweating, always scared. Shatner is the king of Twilight Zone panic. He appeared in 2 episodes, and both times he's terrified of something. First, a fortune-telling machine, then a gremlin on the wing. Both times, nobody believes him. Both times, he's right. Shatner is perfect for these roles because he sells the fear, that wide-eyed terror, that desperate voice. You believe he's losing his mind. Even though you know the show, you still wonder, is he crazy or is it real? That's Shatner's gift.
Offhand, I'd say all of them. No matter who they are or where they are, if they're the enemy, they get it. First day of the war or last day of the war, they get it.
Number 2. Look at this soldier wearing the helmet in A Quality of Mercy. Check for the ears. No points. There are no pointed ears. That's Leonard Nimoy, years before Star Trek, before Spock, before everything. He's playing a regular human soldier, just a guy. It's weird to see him without the Vulcan ears, right? He looks so normal, so young. This episode aired in 1961. Star Trek wouldn't premiere until 1966. So at this point, Nimoy was just another struggling actor taking whatever work he could get. A 1-episode role on Twilight Zone. No special makeup, no catchphrases, just Leonard Nimoy being human. It's like seeing Superman without the cape. Technically correct, but somehow wrong.
I didn't see you.
Number 3. Look at this guy in Nothing in the Dark. Do you recognize him? That's Robert Redford. Yes, that Robert Redford. Golden hair, perfect smile. Look how young and pretty he is. Now here's the twist. He's playing Death. Not a monster, not a skeleton. Death as a nice guy. A handsome police officer who seems sweet and gentle. That's what makes it so scary. Death doesn't look like Death. He looks like someone you'd trust, someone you'd let into your house. Redford wasn't famous yet when this aired. This was before Butch Cassidy, before everything. But you can already see the charisma, the star power. He makes Death look friendly. That's terrifying.
What do they think I am, William Shakespeare?
Number 4. Burt Reynolds mocking Brando. See that sweaty guy in the Bard? Watch him mumble and scratch himself. That's Burt Reynolds. But he's not playing Burt Reynolds. He's making fun of Marlon Brando. This whole performance is a mean parody. The tight t-shirt, the mumbling, the tough guy act. It's all mocking Brando's method acting style. Reynolds is basically saying method actors are ridiculous. The crazy part? Reynolds wasn't famous yet either. This was years before Smokey and the Bandit, but he's already got that cocky attitude, that smirk. You can tell he thinks he's funny. And honestly, he is. This performance is hilarious. It's Reynolds at his most sarcastic, most disrespectful. It's perfect.
Where is Martin?
I'm Martin. You've got to believe me, I'm Martin. You've got to believe me.
Number 5. Ron Howard's childhood role. Look at this tiny boy playing marbles in walking distance. Freeze frame on his face. That's Ron Howard. Little Opie from the Andy Griffith Show. He's barely old enough to walk. Maybe 6 or 7 years old. He has like 2 lines in the whole episode. But it's him, baby Ron Howard. Future Oscar-winning director Ron Howard. At this point, he's just a kid actor taking any job his parents can get him. No idea he'll direct Apollo 13 someday. No idea he'll become one of the biggest directors in Hollywood. He's just a little boy playing marbles on TV. It's adorable. And kind of amazing to see where he started.
Shall I tell you who the minorities are? We are the minorities!
Number 6. See that guy screaming at the crowd? The one with the crazy eyes? That's Dennis Hopper. Young Dennis Hopper. He's playing a neo-Nazi leader in He's Alive. This is one of the show's most direct political warnings. No aliens, no tricks, just straight up talking about fascism in America. And Hopper is terrifying. He's so intense, so angry. Even as a young actor, you can see the madness in his eyes, the rage. This was years before Easy Rider, years before Blue Velvet, but the intensity is already there. That scary energy. Hopper makes you believe this character could actually exist, could actually be dangerous. That's what makes this episode so disturbing. It feels real.
A very succinct suggestion of the services I render, Mr. Feathersmith. Travel. Time travel.
Number 7. Tell yourself to look at her hair in Of Late I Think of Cliffordville. Zoom in close. See those points? Those are horns. Small horns actually sticking out of her hair. That's Julie Newmar, Catwoman herself. But here she's playing the devil, a beautiful, seductive devil. And that's the whole point. She's so gorgeous you almost miss the horns. You're distracted by her face, her smile, her voice. Then suddenly you notice, wait, are those horns? Yes. Yes, they are. She's literally the devil, but she looks like an angel. That's brilliant casting. The devil shouldn't look scary. The devil should look like someone you want to trust, someone you want to make a deal with. Newmar is perfect. Number 8. Watch this clumsy woman falling down and Cavender is Coming. That's Carol Burnett, before she was famous, before her variety show, before everything. But look at her physical comedy. The way she trips, the facial expressions, the timing. She's already a master. This episode is basically a preview of what made her a legend. The slapstick, the self-deprecating humor, the way she makes you laugh at her character without making fun of the character. That's a rare skill. Most comedians punch down. Burnett punches herself, and somehow it's still funny. You can tell she's gonna be huge. Even in this tiny role, she steals the scene.
You took those keys off the desk. Give them back to me.
Oh no, I must keep the laboratory door locked.
Number 9. Look at the robot in Uncle Simon. See that weird face? That's actually Robbie the robot from Forbidden Planet. But here's the thing, the show had no money, so they grabbed Robbie and slapped a cheap mask over his famous glass dome head. Why? They didn't want to pay full price to use him properly. They literally tried to hide one of the most famous robots in movie history with a dollar store disguise. It's like putting a fake mustache on Superman and hoping nobody notices. The best part? Everyone noticed. Fans wrote angry letters, but the show kept using him anyway because, again, they were broke.
I'd like a cup of hot chocolate. I would like it in the English bone china cup.
Number 10. Now jump to the brain center at Whipple's. Pause right here. See that robot? It's Robbie again, but this time he looks perfect. Full dome, shiny metal, the works. The irony is hilarious. This is a show about the future, right? About tomorrow's technology, but they're using a movie prop that was already 8 years old. Robbie debuted in 1956. By the time Twilight Zone used him, he was basically a vintage robot. It's like making a sci-fi show today and using an iPhone 4 as future tech. But here's the thing. Nobody cared. Robbie was so cool that even old, he looked better than anything else on TV.
Their world is full of Maple Streets. And we'll go from one to the other and let them destroy themselves.
Number 11. Freeze the screen in Maple Street. See that UFO hovering over the neighborhood? That's the C-57D from Forbidden Planet, the same ship from the movie. But wait, look closer. Something's off, right? That's because they flipped the film footage upside down. They literally turned the camera film backwards and hoped nobody would recognize it. Why? Same reason as always. Money. They had one spaceship model and they needed to stretch it across multiple episodes. So they got creative. Turn it upside down, spin it around, change the lighting, anything to make people think it was a different ship. Did it work? Not really. Fans spotted it immediately.
Prejudices can kill, and suspicion can destroy. And the pity of it is that these things cannot be confined.
Number 12. Look at Third from the Sun. There's that UFO again. The exact same C-57D model. At this point, Twilight Zone basically had a one spaceship fits all policy. If an episode needed a UFO, you got this ship. Period. Didn't matter if the episode was about aliens invading Earth or humans escaping Earth. same ship. It showed up so many times that fans started playing a game, Spot the Forbidden Planet ship. It became a drinking game in college dorms. Take a shot every time you see the C-57D. The show was recycling props like crazy, but somehow it worked. Because the stories were so good, nobody really cared about the budget tricks.
2 million years ago, my people began a vast seeding program.
Number 13. Zoom in on the astronauts in The Little People. Look at those guns they're carrying. Those aren't generic sci-fi props. Those are the exact blaster pistols from Forbidden Planet. The same ones the crew used in the movie. You can tell by the unique design, the curved handle, the weird barrel. Everything matches perfectly. This is another piece of proof that Twilight Zone was basically built from Forbidden Planet's leftovers. After the movie wrapped, MGM had all these expensive props sitting in storage, so Twilight Zone rented them for cheap. Smart move. Why build new props when you can borrow legendary ones? The guns added instant credibility to the episodes. Number 14. End this section with the final scene in The Little People. See those two giants who show up? Look at their clothes carefully. Those are the crew uniforms from Forbidden Planet. The original C-57D crew tunics. They just dyed them different colors and added new belts. That's it. The show literally dressed its actors in hand-me-down movie costumes. This is the ultimate proof that Twilight Zone was built from Forbidden Planet's trash. But here's the beautiful part. It worked. The costumes looked futuristic and cool. Nobody watching at home knew they were recycled. The show turned garbage into gold. That's real creativity. That's what happens when you have no money but unlimited imagination. Number 15. Look at the season 4 and 5 intro. That floating door, that window, that giant eyeball. It looks like animation, right? Wrong. Those are real objects. Physical props hanging on wires. They built a tiny door and suspended it with fishing line. They filmed it twisting in space. Then they added the spiral background. Everything you see is practical effects. No computers, no cartoons. Just real stuff filmed in creative ways. This is why old shows look so good. They had to solve problems with physical objects, with light and shadow, with camera tricks. Modern shows use CGI and it looks fake. Twilight Zone used fishing line and it looks magical.
Speak for yourself, Turkey. That's Jerry. Every dummy to his own taste.
Number 16. Put these two ventriloquist dummies side by side. One from The Dummy, one from Caesar and Me. Look closely at the face, the wood grain on the cheek, the shape of the smile. It's the same dummy, the exact same prop. They just changed his name and hoped nobody would notice. This is the Twilight Zone strategy in a nutshell. Reuse everything, change nothing important. The dummy is creepy enough that nobody cares if they saw him before. In fact, seeing him twice makes him scarier, like he's haunting the show itself, jumping from episode to episode. A cursed prop that won't go away. Accidental genius. They saved money and made the show creepier by accident.
There must be some mistake. There's nothing here.
You're traveling to another dimension.
Number 17. Picture this set. No air conditioning, thick wool clothes, burning hot lights pointed at your face. That's what actress Anne Francis dealt with filming The After Hours. The lights were so hot they could cook an egg. The studio was like an oven, and Francis was wearing a heavy coat. Eventually, she collapsed, just fell over from severe dehydration. It wasn't acting. She was actually passing out on camera. The crew had to stop filming and get her medical help. This happened all the time on old TV shows. No safety rules, no breaks, just brutal conditions. Francis recovered and finished the episode, but she said later it was the hardest thing she ever filmed. Pure torture.
You see this? It holds a promise for anyone who smokes. It's Oasis.
Number 18. Look at Rod Serling standing there with his cigarette. See that fog around him? That's not special effects. That's not movie magic. That's cigarette smoke. Real smoke. Serling smokes 4 packs a day. 4! That's 80 cigarettes every single day. The studio had to install industrial fans just so the cameras could see through the smoke cloud. The actors complained they couldn't breathe. The crew needed masks. But Serling kept smoking. He said it helped him think, helped him write. He wrote most of his scripts while chain smoking. That smoke became part of the show's identity, that mysterious fog in every scene. It wasn't atmosphere, It was lung cancer forming in real time. Number 19. Look at this fortune teller machine in Nick of Time. That little devil head. It looks simple, right? Wrong. This prop was broken. It jammed constantly. Every take it would stick. The head wouldn't move, the cards wouldn't drop. Shatner got so frustrated he almost walked off set. He was screaming at the prop department, demanding they fix it or replace it. But they couldn't. They had no backup. So they just kept filming and hoping it would work. Most of Shatner's panic in this episode is real. He's not afraid of the machine, he's afraid it's going to ruin another take. That genuine frustration makes the performance better. Sometimes technical problems create better art. Number 20. Watch Agnes Moorehead in The Invaders. She's fighting these tiny aliens, throwing herself around the set, slamming into walls. There's zero dialogue in this episode, just 25 minutes of her screaming and fighting puppets. She filmed this for 6 days straight. 6 days of physical violence. By the end, her body was covered in real bruises, real cuts, real pain. The puppets were hard, the wires hurt, everything was practical effects, no CGI to fix it later. What you see is what she did. Moorehead was in her 50s when she filmed this. Most actresses that age wouldn't do their own stunts, but she insisted. That's pure dedication. That's an artist destroying her body for the craft. Number 21. Watch the silence carefully. Look at Franchotone's face. Notice how one side is always in shadow? How the camera never shows the right side of his face straight on. That wasn't an artistic choice. That was hiding an injury. Tone had scraped his face in a real accident right before filming. The skin was raw, bloody, scarred. They couldn't cancel the episode, they'd already spent the money, so the director just hid it. Creative camera angles, strategic shadows. Tone kept his face turned to one side the whole time. It worked. Most viewers never noticed, but once you know, you can't unsee it. Every scene is designed to hide his face. That's problem solving under pressure. Number 22. Here's actor William Reynolds in The Purple Testament. His character is supposed to die. Supposed to lie in a coffin. Simple scene, right? Wrong. Reynolds refused to film it. He flat out said no. Why? He was convinced it would kill him in real life. Seriously, he believed if he played dead, he would die. It's an old superstition. Many actors believe it. So what did the show do? They used a stunt double, just to lie still in a coffin. A stuntman for lying down. The stunt guy did the scene. Reynolds did everything else. Superstition saved his life? We'll never know. But Reynolds lived to old age, so maybe he was right to be scared. Number 23. Every episode was written, cast, and filmed in 8 days. 8! Most TV shows today take 2 weeks to film one episode. Twilight Zone did it in 8 days. That means the crew was working non-stop, sleeping on the set floor, eating while filming, no breaks, no rest. Crew members literally collapsed from exhaustion. They'd wake them up and keep going. It was a factory. A dream factory, but still a factory. This pace is why the show lasted only 5 seasons. Everyone was burned out, destroyed. Serling himself was smoking 4 packs a day just to keep up. The show was eating people alive. But it produced 156 episodes. More content than most modern shows make in 10 years. Speed breeds innovation. Number 24. Here's the secret. Every time you see an expensive episode like The Odyssey of Flight 33 with a plane and dinosaurs, Serling had to write a cheap episode to balance it out. That's where bottle episodes come in. Episodes in one room. The Midnight Sun is just 2 women in an apartment. 5 characters in search of an exit is 5 people in a cylinder. One set, no special effects, cheap. These weren't creative choices, these were survival tactics. The show couldn't afford to be ambitious every week, so Serling turned limitation into creativity. He wrote tiny, personal stories that didn't need money, and somehow those episodes were just as good. Sometimes better. Proof that budget doesn't equal quality. Number 25. Look at An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. It looks different from other episodes, doesn't it? The style, the pacing, the cinematography. That's because this wasn't filmed for the Twilight Zone. This is a French short film, a complete movie from France. CBS bought it for $25,000 and just slapped Serling's narration on it. Then they aired it as a Twilight Zone episode. Why? Money. They blew the budget on expensive episodes and needed something cheap to fill the schedule. So they bought a foreign film and pretended they made it. The crazy part? It won awards. People loved it. Nobody cared it was French. It's still considered one of the best episodes, even though it's technically not even an episode. Watch this clumsy woman falling down and Cavender is coming. That's Carol Burnett, before she was famous, before her variety show, before everything. But look at her physical comedy, the way she trips, the facial expressions, the timing. She's already a master. This episode is basically a preview of what made her a legend. The slapstick, the self-deprecating humor, the way she makes you laugh at her character without making fun of the character. That's a rare skill. Most comedians punch down. Burnett punches herself, and somehow it's still funny. You can tell she's going to be huge. Even in this tiny role, she steals the scene. Number 26. Rod Serling wanted to write about the murder of Emmett Till, a real 14-year-old black boy lynched in Mississippi. Serling wrote a script, a powerful script. He submitted it to the network. They said no. Too controversial, too political, too real. They banned it. Serling was furious, but he realized something. If he talked about racism directly, he got censored. But if he talked about aliens, about monsters, he could say anything. So he invented the Twilight Zone, a show where he could hide the truth inside science fiction. The entire show exists because the network wouldn't let him tell the truth. They accidentally created a masterpiece by censoring him. Emmett Till's murder led to the Twilight Zone. That's the hidden origin story. Number 27. Serling called it his Trojan horse. He explained this in interviews. If you write about racism, the censors kill your script. If you write about war, the sponsors pull out. But if you write about green men on Mars, nobody stops you. You can say anything. Aliens became Serling's weapon, his trick. He'd write an episode about prejudice and just change the humans to aliens. Change the American town to another planet. Suddenly, the censors didn't care. They thought it was silly sci-fi. They let it through. But the audience understood. They saw the metaphor. They got the message. Serling outsmarted the system. He used fiction to tell the truth. That's why Twilight Zone mattered. It wasn't about monsters. It was about us. Number 28. When executives saw the pilot episode, they were confused. Completely lost. They asked Serling, "Is this a Western?" They thought Twilight Zone was going to be a cowboy show. Seriously, they didn't understand the concept. They didn't get science fiction. They wanted something simple, something familiar, so Serling had to dumb it down. He added the narration, that iconic intro where he explains what the Twilight Zone is. That wasn't artistic vision, that was hand-holding. The executives forced him to explain the plot every week because they thought the audience was too stupid to understand. The irony? That narration became the show's trademark, the most memorable part. The executive's stupidity accidentally created a legend. Number 29. CBS executives watched The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street and panicked. They realized it wasn't about aliens, it was about McCarthyism, about Americans turning on each other, about paranoia destroying communities. This was still the Red Scare era. McCarthy was still powerful. The executives tried to kill the episode. They wanted it buried. But Serling fought back. He threatened to quit the show. The executives backed down. The episode aired. And it became the most famous episode of the entire series, the most studied in schools, the most referenced in politics. It's the episode everyone remembers, the one about the mob. The executives tried to censor it and accidentally made it immortal. Sometimes the controversy makes the art more powerful. Number 30. Look at Death's Head Revisited. This episode shows concentration camps, real footage and recreations. In 1961, that was forbidden. The network said it was too soon after World War II. They said America wasn't ready to see the camps on TV. Sponsors threatened to pull their ads. They didn't want to be associated with Holocaust content. Serling didn't care. He showed the camps anyway. He made the Nazi face his crimes. No metaphors, no aliens, just the truth. The episode aired and viewers were shocked. Some complained, some cried, but most people praised it. They said TV needed to show this, needed to remember. Serling broke the taboo. He proved you could talk about the Holocaust on television. That episode opened doors for other shows to follow. Number 31. Look at this kid in It's a Good Life, Billy Mooney. He's 7 years old. Look at his face. That dead stare, that menacing smile. He's terrifying. But here's the truth. Behind the camera, the director was screaming at him, yelling to make him scared, to make him look creepy. Moomy was genuinely traumatized during filming. He cried between takes. He wanted to go home, but they kept pushing him. They needed that evil look, that performance, and they got it by terrorizing a child. This is how old Hollywood worked. No child labor laws, no therapy, just results. Moomy grew up to be a great actor, but he said this episode gave him nightmares. The role haunted him for years. That's the real cost of art. Number 32. It's a Good Life was so disturbing that schools banned it. Teachers said it was dangerous, that it showed children they could be evil, that it normalized tyranny. Some school districts actually prohibited discussing the episode in class. They thought it would corrupt students, make them think dictatorship was acceptable. This is like the video games cause violence debate of 1961. Moral panic. Overreaction. But it proves how powerful the episode was. If people wanted to ban it, it meant it scared them. It made them uncomfortable. That's what great art does. It disturbs, it provokes, it makes people want to censor it. The ban made the episode more famous, more important. Kids wanted to watch it because adults said they couldn't. Number 33. The Encounter was banned from US syndication for 52 years. 52 years! It stars George Takei, future Sulu from Star Trek. The episode is about a Japanese-American man and a white veteran trapped in an attic. Tension builds. Secrets come out. The episode suggests the Japanese character's father was a traitor during Pearl Harbor. Asian American groups protested. They said it was racist, that it promoted stereotypes. The network pulled it from rotation immediately. It vanished. For 5 decades, you couldn't watch it on TV. It only came back in 2016 when streaming services started showing the full series. Now you can watch it. Decide for yourself if it's racist or just uncomfortable. Either way, it's proof the show pushed boundaries too far sometimes. Number 34. Look at Rod Serling typing. This man wrote 92 out of 156 episodes. Himself. That's more than half the series. Most TV writers today write maybe 10 scripts a season. Serling wrote 92 complete scripts across 5 seasons. Plus hosting, plus producing, plus fighting with executives. It's superhuman. How did he do it? He didn't sleep. He smoked constantly. He worked until his fingers bled. Metaphorically and maybe literally. He had no life outside the show. No hobbies, no vacations, just writing. This workload destroyed him, broke him down physically and mentally. But it produced some of the greatest television ever made. Serling sacrificed himself for the show. He gave everything. And we got 92 masterpieces. Number 35. End with this fact. Rod Serling died at 50 years old. 50. That's young. He had a heart attack. Then another. Then a third one killed him during surgery. The doctors said it was the smoking. 4 packs a day for decades. The stress, the exhaustion, the non-stop work. It literally killed him. Serling gave his life for the Twilight Zone. He burned himself out creating this show. He knew it was happening. People told him to slow down, to take breaks. He refused. He said the show was too important. The messages were too urgent. So he kept writing, kept smoking, kept fighting, until his heart gave out. That's the ultimate cost. He died so we could have this show. Leave the viewer with that heavy thought.